Hello everyone, my name is Ankur Rai and today I am here to present you the Dubai Real Estate Dashboard. So first of all, let me walk you through the data that I have received from my mentor. So this is the CSV file that I have received from my mentor, excluding the listing categories. This was later on added by me. We have the square feet, which describes the size of the property in square feet. Next we have the bedrooms and the bathrooms, describes the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. Next we have the neighborhood that describes the type of the neighborhood, that is a rural, suburban or urban type. Next we have the year built. Next we have the price. Last we have the listing category. In the data cleaning process, I have cleaned the price section because it contained few negative values, and as we all know, a property cannot have a price in negative value, so I have completely removed them. In the listing category, I have used the if and the quartile inclusive formula to divide the properties into three equal quartiles, that is the budget, mid-range and the high-end. This is based on the price of the properties. Now let us take a look on the dashboard. So before looking into the report view, let us take a look in the table view. So just like the CSV file, we have the square feet, bedroom, bathrooms, neighborhood, year build, price, listing category. Here I have added two more columns, that is the price per square feet, using the DAX formula divide. Here I have divided the price with the size of the property, that is the square feet column. Next we have the property age. Here I have subtracted the year build from 2025, that is the current year. I have also created two measures, that is the oldest property. Here I have used the DAX formula max from the property age. Next I have created the total listings using the DAX formula count rows of the table. So now in the report view, you can see KPIs that I have used here. Here the total listing that I have used, I have simply used the measure. Next the oldest property, the same way I have created the measure that I have used in here. Next we have the average of square feet. In the average size of the property is 2.01 thousand in square feet. Next we have the minimum price. This is the minimum price of the property that is listed in our listings, and this is the average price of the properties per square feet, and this is the maximum price of the property that is listed in our listings. Next we have the average price of property, the average of total listings. So here in the first chart I have used a stacked bar chart. I have used the listing volume by neighborhood type and the listing category. So in the x-axis you can see the count of listing category, and in the y-axis you can see the neighborhood type, rural, urban and suburban. If you hover onto this, you can see that I have further distributed it into budget, high-end and mid-range. You can see the count of listing categories in each neighborhood type and also in the listing categories. So in the next chart we can see that I have used a stack bar chart again. Here you can see the maximum price of each property type, or you can see the listing category. In the x-axis you can see the maximum of price, and in the y-axis you can see the listing categories. Here if you hover onto this, you can see the maximum price for each listing category. This is for the budget section, this is for the mid-range, and this is for the high-end. In the next one I have used the narrative option from the insert menu. I have used it to give insights of the whole dashboard. This will give you a brief introduction about the whole dashboard. Next we have the stacked column chart, and we have used the total listings by property type. In the x-axis you can see the listing categories, and in the y-axis you can see the count of listings. So if you again hover onto this, you can see the listing category type and also the count of listings for each category. So on the next one I have used a line chart. Here you can see the price by property age. Here if you hover onto this, you will see the average price of property of that year or the age. If a property is 4-year age, the average price is 2,28,354. This is a line chart. You can just hover onto this and you can see according to their age, you can see the average price. So next we have the pie chart created on the listing volume distribution. Here I have distributed the pie chart into 3 listing categories using the legends. So if you hover onto this, you can see the listing category type and the count of listing category along with the percentage of the whole market or the listings. So in the same way you can check for high end and also for the mid range. Next we have the filter section that I've manually created by myself using the slicer. So here first we have the number of bedrooms. So if the user wants to check for properties that have 4 bedrooms, so they can check the properties which has 4 bedrooms. They can check the maximum price in each property type, and they can also see the count of listings, or they can see the price also according to the age of the properties. Next we have the number of bathrooms. If a user wants to have 2 bathrooms in the property, they can just select it and the dashboard changes automatically accordingly. In the same way, if a user wants a property in the rural area, you'll just select it and the dashboard changes accordingly. You'll get all the insights and the charts according to the rural slicer. Next we have the listing category. Here if the user wants to have a budget friendly or a high end or a mid range property, they can simply select it from here. Let us select the high end. So the dashboard again changes according to the filters that is applied here. Next we can also search by selecting our price range. Suppose we have a fixed budget, so we can just slide it and bring it to our budget, or we can also type it over here like 1000. Let me just give it a try, and here let me give 5000. So you will see all the properties. Sorry, it is not there. Let me give 1 lakh. So here, as I have inserted this range, all the values have gone blank. This is just because this range does not fall under this listing category high end. If you check that, if we uncheck this high end, you will see that only the budget range is over here to select. So if we don't select anything, let's just keep it like that and uncheck everything. You'll see most of the things are back, but you won't see that the high end or the mid-range listing category is anywhere. So to bring those back, you have to again set it back to the range that they belong to. So you have to set this price to the range that the high range and the high end can be shown. So you can just check according to your budget that which property is suitable for the user. So the dashboard automatically changes according to the filters or the slices that I have created here. So next, let me just talk about the overall market size and the price range. The dashboard highlights the total number of property listings, that is the 50,000, identifies the oldest property as 75 and displays the minimum price and the maximum price, establishing the full market price spectrum. The average pricing, it calculates the average property price and the average property price per square feet, providing a clear benchmark for the market-wide valuation. Next, the price and the square footage distribution. The analysis includes the property average property size, helping to visualize how pricing varies with size and total listing areas across the market. Next, the category and the geographic analysis says that the listings are categorized by property type and neighborhood, showing how mid-range, budget and the high-end properties are distributed across urban, suburban and rural areas, with mid-range dominating the overall counts. The property age impact. The price of the property age illustrates how property values fluctuate across ages up to the 75 years, offering insights into depreciation and market maturity trends. So the highest property value recorded is around 492.20 thousand, with an average price of around 224.93 thousand and an average price per square feet of around 113.36. This indicates that the most transaction occurs in the affordable to mid-range price, suggesting a market driven by high listing volume rather than premium pricing. The market is primarily composed of mid-range and high-end, with the budget listing slightly lower at 24.97%. From this shows that the mid-range properties dominate the total listings, that is around 25,000 out of 50,000, showing the strongest market activity. The urban and the suburban areas have the highest listing values and the price concentration, while the rural neighborhood shows the lowest values. This suggests that the investment activities and the buyer interests are highest in developed city zones. Properties range up to the 75 years old, with pricing staying relatively consistent across age segments. This reflects a mature market where both older and newer properties actively trade without steep depreciation. Here are few suggested actions for the real estate investor or the agents. They should focus on the mid-range and the high-end segments that together make up to 75% of the listings, a prime target for the consistent sales volume and the strong returns. Prioritize urban-suburban markets. These neighborhoods hold the highest volume and transaction density, offering reliable liquidity and growth potential. Explore the budget section for volume. Budget listings from nearly a quarter of the market, ideal for agents aiming for higher transaction counts and investors seeking bulk acquisition opportunities. Review pricing trends by property age to identify undervalued segments. Example, older urban homes retaining high values may indicate renovation or rental potential. So this is all for today. Thank you.